What's up guys, Nick here, and this is another tutorial for Cinema 4D. Today is to make realistic text on a real life background. You can see down here we have this scene here. It's like a beach scene. Not my favorite one to use, but I don't want to use one that I've already used before for the tutorial purposes. So I'm going to try to use this one. I'm going to put text right here and make it try to look realistic with the background, you know. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to properties on this picture just so we can figure out what the dimensions of this picture are. You can see it's 2560 by 1600 as far as length and width goes, or height and width. So we're going to go into Cinema 4D, go to render settings as usual, and I'm being in text now, whatever. And we're going to match those properties. So we got 2560, so 2560, and the height is 1600. Right? Now when I do my Cinema 4D, I always use anti-aliasing. I always use best and 4x4 by 8x8. It kind of depends on how good your computer is. Mine's fairly good, so I can handle these settings. You might want to mess around with it a little bit, but just for example, if I added a sphere, you could see the difference with how it's rendered. It looks really nice and smooth, as opposed to, let me turn it off and I'll show you. Geometry, right? Oh, I still have it set on. Whoops. With no anti-aliasing, you can kind of see the little rigid edges. The better you make it, the better you're gonna be. Whoops, why the hell is it doing that? Okay, my mouse is kind of spazzing out. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so let's delete this. Okay, so when you're doing this, the first thing you want to do is you're gonna want to add a plane. You can use a floor too. I use planes. Drag it out a little bit. That should be good. Then usually you do this for a logo. So you're gonna want to go to MoGraph, MoText, and it'll pop up right there. Type in whatever you want. I'm gonna use NaldFX actually. So choose a font. I know exactly which font I want to use. It's called Haunting Attraction. You're gonna see it in my new intro. I haven't saved it yet, just because, you know, I'm just trying to get final perfections on it. You know, I'll just past it. Let's see. Make sure the text fits on the plane like this, right? So then you have text in a plane. Not much to look at, right? Just boring. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to go to this one with the floor, hold down on it, go to background, let go, and nothing's gonna pop up. So you make a new material by double clicking down here. You're going to create new material. Double click on your material, and under color, you just go to texture, load image, and the image that I'm going to be using is from Strat's 50K pack. It's under his favorite wallpapers, and it's Beauty Beach. So take that, put it on there. That's all you gotta do. Drag it on the background, and there it pops up. You can see it fits the dimensions we made. And right now, that's completely disgusting, right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this and, whoops, didn't want to do that. This and the floor. And the best thing to do, you have to move them both together, because I'll show you why in a second. It's hard to explain at first. Press R for rotate and kind of just move it around so it looks like it could probably fit on there. Use the move tool, drag it down, move it back, do whatever you want. Get positioned right. Just play around with it until you think it looks good sitting there. It's really hard to tell until after you finish it. Then you render it out here. You can always test it just by rendering, because then you can see the way it kind of looks. And actually, you should probably make the plane a little bit longer depending on where the angle of the sun is going to be at. So yeah, that should be good. And obviously when you render it out, all you see is this big gray plane. It's kind of crappy. So what you gotta do is you gotta click on plane, go to tags up here, Cinema 4D tags, compositing, then just tick compositing background, and then you press Control and drag the texture from background onto plane, and you can see it kind of goes transparent here. Now if we render it out, it just looks like it's sand. It looks like just like the beach. So you can kind of see how it blends with everything now. Now let's look in the text, because you gotta. I think I just moved that. Did I not? Okay, just checking. Text. You might want to make it a little thicker, just so it shows off a little bit more. Add some material to it. I like showing a little bit of reflection. Fresnel or Fresnel, whatever you want to call it. I usually do about 50% on here, just for these type of things. 50% here, and around 15% here. And I'm not even going to color it. I'm just going to leave that on there. And you can kind of see how it reflects upwards, but it's going to change a little bit as we add lighting to it. Let's see. I'm not sure this actually looks good, but let's finish off the text first. You can change the height, lower the height. I like the height where it's at. That's fine. I don't care. It's just a tutorial. Maybe spread it out a little bit so you can read it really well. This font really doesn't fit a beach, but it's one of my favorite fonts, so I'm going to use it. Now if we render it, we're just gonna wait. We're gonna look at it. Doesn't really look like it's fitting there. So what you gotta do is just click on Motex, press Shift, plane, and rotate. Make it look. You might want to make it line up. So use the back of the plane. If we move it back a little bit, we want to kind of connect it to this white line over here. Alright, so. Sorry, guys. I'm sick as hell right now. Let's see. That should be. It looks like it might be pretty good. I might have to move it back, like rotate it back a little bit. But you can kind of see how it fits with the background. Like I said, this one's kind of weird because it's just like one texture. It's like just one color. Now we're gonna add a light. I don't usually use light because lighting is not really effective. Softboxing is a lot better. We're gonna move it around a little bit. There's no shadow, so you don't really know where the sun's coming from. So we're gonna pretend it's coming from down here where I'm putting the light, right? So when you make a light object, you know you can add shadow by going down to here on general, shadow map soft, but that kinda just looks really bad. And you can see how it cuts off here. You don't want that. So we're gonna click on the plane and we're gonna drag it and drag it. That way the shadow has plenty of room to go on. Try it again. The only reason I'm not putting the shadow behind it is because you can clearly see the sun's not there. You don't want to make false lighting, so we're kind of just going to make an assumption. Well, yeah, we click on the light because the light is too dark. I mean, the shadow is too dark. Click on the shadow tab, density, bring that down to, I'm going to bring it down to 75. See how that looks. A little better. Yeah, it's not bad, but I think we should actually kind of adjust this lighting a little bit because I don't like where it is. How about this? Basically all it is just fooling around with it. I don't want it to go in the water because that just kind of looks like it should be distorted then. It's just basically trial and error. Find something that you like. Until then, just keep messing around with it. See, now you can see the light is here because you can see the FX is going to go in this way, but then Nald is going all the way this way. So you kind of want to make it like something equal. Like if I moved it over here, you can see that it's going to be more so going this way, but Nald is still kind of slanting. But it's we're just gonna move it back a tiny bit. I think that should be good. I mean, you really just gotta move it around because this is why lighting is very ineffective unless you're trying to get shadows. But shadows can always be added in Photoshop. Don't forget that. Um, oh shit. I'm just gonna keep it there for actually move it around a little bit for the sake of the video, just so I can show you guys. You can always add things like cubes. Let's rotate it like that. Wait, like that, and drag it and just kind of give it something. Let's actually do this. Do it. Actually, no. Let's give it some more segments, just so I can have something to warp when I add a little effect to it. Okay, so we turned it into a polygon by pressing this button, as we learned in the last tutorial. Now we're gonna go to this button here, which is the NURBS, Hyper NURBS. I'm gonna drag the cube onto it, and what you can kind of see is how it kind of the subsurface itself. People who are familiar with the 3D program Blender will know what subsurf means. Let me actually drag this on here. And it's kind of just makes it nice and smooth, makes it look nice. Basically, so if we go back out here to where we had it, which was right about there. Actually, I'm kind of off right about there. It basically just makes it look good. Sphere, same thing. Don't bring it down a little bit. It has enough segments, but I'm gonna add a few more. Just add it so that it gets really nice and round. I mean, it's already round. I'm not sure if it really does much. I really didn't use it on this before, but you can kind of see where it gets its changes there. I mean, anything can be subsurf. The text can be subsurf, but you gotta turn it into a polygon, which I really don't usually do, because then you can't change the text. If you want to make your name shorter, you want to make it longer. Oh yeah, see that comes right off the thing. It's bad. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just not something you want to do. You want to make sure everything looks proper. So we're gonna put this one on the other side of Nald, right in the ground. I mean, even really like weird shapes like platonic can be subsurfed. Let's add a few more segments. Make it look like one of those little games you used to play as a kid, if you guys know what I'm talking about. The one where you had to make triangles and stuff to like win. I'm not sure if you guys know what I'm talking about, but it makes sense to me, so sure. Platonic on here. It's kind of laggy when you add a lot of it, but you can kind of see where it subsurfs. But I'm not going to use that shape because I never use that shape. I'm pretty sure it's a useless shape. But let me add this to that. As far as lighting and everything, as effects go and everything, I mean, this isn't bad because you can kind of see where the light's coming from. But for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm not sure it really matters. This can go up here just so you guys can see. Actually, no, that's going to block off some of the light coming from there. As far as effects go, I always usually do ambient occlusion, or ambient, whatever you want to call it. I usually bring it up to 160 with 35 contrast. That's just my personal preference. I like ambient occlusion. I think it looks cool, because it kind of gives everything a little granular effect. It does take a while to render, especially with high anti-aliasing. But it does kind of look nice. You can see it on the sphere right now that it has a little bit of pixelation down here. Not really pixelation, but darkness, like shadow. It kind of adds a little nice effect, like a realistic type effect to everything. Now if you want to do what I usually do, let's let it render out, see how everything looks, is sometimes I take the text and I raise it up a little bit, just a tiny bit. Delete this, add light, bring it behind the text, kind of like over it, if that works. I'm gonna go to the top view so I can see if this thing stops lagging. It's because of the recording. My computer's not very good when it comes to recording. I have like 58 gigabytes worth of clips just from yesterday for Nald games, but yeah, so put this right over here. I'm gonna cough again, I can tell. That's fine. Just move it a little in front. This kind of just makes the shadows go off in every direction, but you'll see that the shadow is now below. If it worked right, yeah, the shadow is below the text, and it kind of looks pretty cool in my opinion, because that way it just looks like it's like levitating on the sand. But it's basically just a matter of personal preference. What you like, what you don't like, what you think is gonna look cool, and whatnot. Now, if you really want to slow your rendering time down, you can use global illumination. In this case, I would recommend you add luminance to this. I'll add like a nice light gray luminance just so it keeps the form. I'm gonna cough. Shit. I've been sick for like a week. So let it render out. It shouldn't be too bad. Luminance kind of gives it a nice effect to it. I might have made it a little too bright. I'm surprised that didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. But you'll now see the other side of the cube where it used to be dark will no longer be dark because now it's illuminated. It's the luminance made it so it's bright and vibrant. It's kind of hard to read it in this font, but this font, this color. But if you use any other different color and turn global illumination, you should be able to read it pretty fine. Just because it's on a light colored background with a light colored texture. You guys might want to mess with that a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty good. Basically, this is just for like little intros. Like if I show you, let me see. Here we go. Like this. This is basically another one just like that. I kind of put NaldFX in the middle of a railroad track just because it was something I was bored and I was doing. See this wall here? You can put like squares and shit coming out of there just so it looks kind of cool. The color of the wall, make it look like it's just like abstract. I didn't do that because I was going for the basics, but yeah. So that's really about it. This is a really basic tutorial. There's a lot more you can do to this. Make it backward. No one would ever actually do this. That's probably gonna look like shit, but I'm not gonna bother. You can do really anything. Next tutorial probably about intros, basically all around on text. How you can make basic intros for Cinema 4D. And then after that, I'm definitely going over the tools over here, kind of like Bool. Bool is really important. I want you guys to learn about that. So yeah, that's about it. So comment, like, subscribe. New videos pretty often now. Everything's in control now. No more finals or anything for school, so I'm good. So yeah, there'll be videos out pretty often. So just subscribe so you can get them early. And yeah, talk to you guys later.